Hello and welcome to Bringing Education Home. I'm Herb.
And I'm Christina. Together, we are bringing you ideas about education, entrepreneurship, and relationships that are both inside
and outside the box. If you like the show, be sure to follow Christina on Facebook.
And leave us a review and comment on your favorite podcast platform. This morning, we are joined by Lynn Himmelman, sorry about that, a life transformation mentor. She has successfully resolved trauma, anxiety, and complicated relationship conflicts for nearly 3 decades. She discovered during her recovery from a serious brain trauma that laughter, when combined with forgiveness, leads to deep and lasting healing and transformation. Lynn has appeared on numerous well-known media channels and has been voted as Toronto's most infectious laughter in 3 championships. Find out more with Lynn's information, and we will make sure we tell you where that is and include it in the show notes. Lynn, welcome. Thank you for joining us today at Bringing Education Home.
Great. I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you, Christina and Herb.
So infectious laughter. So you are a champion laughing, what, a champion laugher?
Laugher.
You're a champion laugher. So how does that work? There's like a laughing competition?
There is. There's actually something called Laughter Championships. The first one that I attended was in 2009, and it was run by a filmmaker named Albert Nirenberg, and he's going to be hosting the World Laughter Championship online later this year. I don't remember the exact date, but you can always type it in there and look it up.
Yeah. Are you going to go? Are you going to try to be laugh champion again?
Well, in order to be in the World Championship, you've got to go through the whole series of like there's a Canadian Laughing Championship, and if you win that, then you can be in the World Championship.
Got it. There we go. That totally makes sense.
So you talked about using laughter to help you recover from brain trauma. So were you a laugh champion beforehand, or were you was it the laughing that got you there? So when did you find out that laughing was such a helpful part of that?
It's interesting that you asked that question, because until a moment ago, I hadn't really sorted out. Did I become a laughing champion before or after the brain trauma? It was after.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. I had been introduced to this whole concept of laughing without depending on jokes or humor and things that are funny 4 years before I had the brain trauma. And I was kind of on the fence, off the fence with it, laughter. Still had that opinion of it's something a little frivolous. It's not as serious as my serious work of helping people release trauma and anxiety and all that stuff. So I wasn't yet taking laughter seriously, but that brain trauma changed everything, because now I had an invisible disability. I looked the same and people expected the same from me, but my speech was affected. My ability to put 2 and 2 together was all affected. I didn't know how to read anymore. I didn't know how to write. I didn't know how to shop. I didn't remember my eating routines. And I had been like a professed health fanatic for years, and I couldn't even remember my own routines anymore. So laughter became my lifeline. It's like I didn't know what else. Like I couldn't find the words to explain what was happening to me. And we had learned in the whole practice of laughter yoga, which I had been exposed to laugh about things that weren't even necessarily funny. Just laugh for the sake of laughter itself, because it helps to relieve stress. And every time I was faced with this huge mountain of, I don't know how to do the simplest things, all this stress would build up in my system, and it was just bursting inside of me. And then what came bursting forth was I would just shrug my shoulders and go, you're asking me that?
I love
I can't
it.
even explain to you why I can't do it. And so I would default to laughter. Now, the other gift of that was, and this is a gift, you don't even have to have a brain trauma to get the gifts of laughing, to get the gifts of releasing stress. There's all sorts of things that cause us to feel stressful. You know, let's say when you're not getting along with somebody, you know, and it's just like the conversation is escalating and you know it's going down a bad place. What if you could just step back and
Laugh about it.
you know what? This isn't worth arguing about. Yeah. But the other thing is that laughter, when you do it enough, it actually disengages the mind. So when I was faced with that trauma and I couldn't do so many things, you know, you're working so hard up here, like trying to, and it's just like there's this huge kind of invisible wall between you and everyone else out there. Like, to me, it felt like there had been this avalanche that had knocked out the bridge between me and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so every time I laughed, it would put, well, laughter is connected to right brain. Like, I was like, the left brain just was not functioning. It was not functioning. All that stuff that puts 2 and 2 together. Couldn't even dial a phone because I didn't know how to combine the numbers, right? So once you get into the right brain, it's like, it's not only creativity, but when you get out of your mind, okay, you know, I always say, oh, he's out of his mind, you know, it means he's crazy. But
I haven't heard that before.
No.
Right? When you get out of your mind, this actually puts you onto a pathway to true healing, because all healing occurs in the present moment. And when you can disengage your propensity to overthink things, then guess what? You drop into the present moment. And then all manner of miracle begins to unfold. Yes? So laughter is actually your pathway to the present moment, which then opens up the gateway to receive all manner of miracles in your life.
Wow.
Yes?
I had never heard that, never thought about that.
So
But-
yeah, looking back, I can relate. So before the last brain hit, I used to laugh a lot. And when my business fell apart, when I stopped being able to do the simplest things to keep my business going, when I stopped being able to relate to people, the laughter went away and life got a lot harder. And you know, sometimes when I am talking with people and it starts to, and I try and explain just how bad things got, sometimes I do actually start laughing, just because in a way it's like, you know, I'm going to laugh or I'm going to cry, and I would rather laugh. So
rather laugh. Yeah.
so that
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know, I've also gone through something called Being True to You, the coaching program, which is around psychedelic integration and alcohol and addiction recovery. And so we actually talk about laughter, but more in a different way of when people get into that dark place and they laugh, it's like, hey, what's going on there? Let's go explore what's happening around that laughter that brought that up, because there's something there that needs to kind of be looked at or taken care of to bring up that response, because that is a release. So let's go look at that release. So
Yeah.
even
it's a
from my
tell.
coaching, yeah, so it's a tell as well. So yeah, that the hearing that from your point of view, and I didn't know that there was laughing yoga. So that just connected
That
a
sounds like
whole
fun.
lot of dots going backwards that just kind of hit me real suddenly. Is like, wow, that's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Totally amazing.
'Cause-
Because I mean, I'm a person that whenever things get stressful, either I'll start crying or I'll start laughing. And in the past, a lot of it was crying. I would start tearing up, and I still do. And people are like, well, what's wrong? We didn't mean to upset you. It's like, no, that's just kind of my release of when I'm feeling overwhelmed or feeling stressed. Yeah.
Well, and the two are very intertwined. You know, you laugh so hard, you cry, or you could cry so much, you'd start laughing, you know, and both of them produce tears.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I have been in these like crying, I like drop to the floor just, and then suddenly it's like I just start busting up laughing. It's like, why am I down here on the floor? This is ridiculous. So so yeah,
But
everything
I
you're
can
talking
tell you
about-
why you're down on the floor, because there's this phenomenon called laughter paralysis.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, when you're laughing, I mean, if you want to get more into the physiology and the science of it, when you're laughing, it's activating the vagus nerve. Okay, so there's lots and lots of stuff going on, you know, and talk around vagus nerve. Well, we have two nervous systems. We have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and so many people are kind of stuck in this sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight.
Right.
And it's just so patterned into the system, and they're never getting out of it, and they can't sleep, on and on, and it's really bad. But first, I mean, in order to be able to sleep, you've got to be able to switch into the parasympathetic. And if you want to create an interruption in that stuck patterning in the system, laughing by activating the vagus nerve, by the time you finish a really good laugh, you're in this parasympathetic state. You're very relaxed. But most people are just relying on everyday laughter, and it ain't doing nothing. It's not doing that much. And most people aren't even laughing all that much on a day-to-day basis. And then when a laugh erupts over a joke or a piece of comedy, it's only lasting for a few seconds, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And if it's a really good laugh, 10 or 12 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, or 10 or 12 seconds. But if you want to get the therapeutic benefits of laughing, you need to be laughing for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes without stopping.
Wow.
Okay. It becomes like exercise, and it takes practice.
Yeah.
It doesn't take just laughing a little bit one day in a laughter class and you've got it. You actually build up stamina. You build up laughter stamina. And because a lot of times laughter is frowned upon, unfortunately, as being disruptive
or not
inappropriate. Actually, that is such a fallacy, because the most appropriate time to be laughing is when you're under stress.
Interesting.
And so think about all the things that cause stress. It could be loss. It could be grief. It could be an argument. It could be a natural disaster where you've lost your house, where your house burned down, or there was an earthquake, you know, all of these things. So we've actually brought laughter yoga into those situations to help people who are in that state of trauma to drop into the parasympathetic nervous system so that they're not in this constant edge.
Yeah, I don't feel so bad for laughing at funerals anymore. Suddenly.
Right.
People do it. And, you know, I just talked to somebody last week who said, you know, the whole bunch of us, we started laughing, and then we ended up sharing all of our happy memories of that person.
Yeah.
And it was very therapeutic. It was very therapeutic, and everybody.
I think the only thing more infectious than yawning is laughing. So
that's it.
If you hear somebody at another table, you don't even know what they're talking about, and the whole table starts laughing, then other tables will like watch. It's like, ooh, and then after a while they'll start, you know, giggling and laughing, and you can get a whole room laughing even if they don't know what's going on, just by hearing other people laughing. So it's interesting that you say it's frowned upon. I always like it when I hear people laughing, because it's like, ooh, I want to feel that too.
it really depends on the setting. So now I actually am affiliated with Laughter Yoga International, and I train people to become laughter yoga leaders. And a couple of times I've had this happen. I had somebody come into the training. They were so happy and relieved to be there because they finally had this like kind of safe container where they could laugh and they knew they weren't going to get kicked out. And she shared the story that she had gone to Yuck Yucks, which is like a comedy place, and got kicked out for laughing too much.
What? You're kidding me.
Yep. And I thought, oh, I don't know, one time anomaly. A year later, I had someone else come into my laughter training. She shared the story of how her and her father went to this time it was Second City, another comedy place.
Yeah.
They got kicked out for laughing too much. They were considered disruptive.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, our show talks to entrepreneurs, so I would really love to think about, how laughter in the entrepreneur world, but also to families, because I'm thinking if the families can laugh together over silly things or even serious things and just really connect with each other, how wonderful would that be?
Absolutely. Oh, it makes such a difference. And when I was running my weekly classes, which are slowly coming back up, my weekly in person,
Yeah.
I would sometimes, people who were parents would say, oh, I don't know, I get my kids. I said, bring the kids. And it was so awesome to watch the transformation, when the kids and the parents would come from one week to the next. At first the kids would look at the parents because in laughter yoga, it's very childlike. The whole idea is to reconnect with your childlike spirit within and just get silly.
Yeah.
Right? I sometimes refer to it as adult nursery school, but the kids look, what's happened to my parent, but then after a while, they they enjoy it because they're so used to their parents always being the one that, when they bring them into the laughter class, the kids are allowed to run loose. They're allowed to laugh and I even invite them to come in and make up exercises to lead the parents, and
So I have a funny little story and then a question. So I remember when I was a young teenager and, starting to feel that self-consciousness, if I went to a movie theater with my parents and I knew that we were going to watch a comedy, I would sit in a different place way away from my dad, because my dad would laugh so hard and so ridiculously that it embarrassed me. Because it's like, oh yeah, that's funny, but it's not that funny. And so that's the funny little story. And the question is laugh yoga, are you actually like doing yoga positions, or what does laugh yoga look like?
Well, yeah, a lot of people misunderstand and think because it's got the word yoga, then we must be doing yoga postures and laughing while they're doing. No, laughing is the yoga, because yoga is a science for living a healthy, happy life, for getting into the present moment, and for cleansing the system through deep breathing exercises. And it just so happens that laughter is one of the most intense breathing exercises that you can engage in, right? And when you just keep laughing and you get into a group where, one is feeding off the other, off the other, off the other, off the other, and you let that laughter keep continuing for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Oh my gosh, like you have done a major purging of old stale air out of your lung cavity. You have just like given your body a whole regenerative boost of oxygen, endorphins, mood lifting endorphins. It's just like an instant vacation, right?
Yeah.
You come out of that experience of laughing feeling the same as if you had just had a vacation.
Nice.
Ooh, okay, we have to start laughing more each and every day.
So
That should-
normally when we go out, we're the people who get other people laughing. We have heard so many times it's like, oh, you guys need to go away. You're making my face hurt.
Face hurt because
So-
you smile.
So it's like there's also a whole lot of facial.
Then you just say good, good. Yes, that's you're gonna look so much younger 20 years from now because of all the laughing you did and that exercised all those muscles, natural facelift.
Yeah. So when people find out how old we actually are, they're all like, there's no way. It's like, how do you stay so young looking? And it's like, we now we can say, oh, it's because we laugh a
We
lot.
laugh a lot. Yeah.
Exactly. Same here.
Yeah.
And when you're laughing, not only, okay, natural facelift, but there are hormones that are being released in your system that support staying young.
Exactly.
Well, these are whirlwind sessions today, so we are running out of time.
We are.
So how can people
Oh.
find out more
More
about you, more about Laugh Yoga? And is there one thing that you would have liked to have covered that we didn't make it today to in such a quick time?
Oh, so much.
Right? You got 2 minutes.
So much. But if you want to find anything about the laughing piece, because I also have this whole forgiveness piece that I do as well, but the laughing piece, just go to laughyourselfhappy.com. Okay, and there will be a link there that will connect you to my events. And I have a free event that happens every 2 weeks online, 30 minutes, stress interrupter.
I love it. Okay.
And we're going to spend 30 minutes laughing together. So you can come into any of those anytime. Just look it up on Event. It's on Eventbrite. That's the other way you can find it.
Okay.
LynnHimmelman.eventbrite.com.
Okay. Perfect.
Or the website.
Excellent. And then you know what? We want to get to that other piece too, because this has been so insightful and so informative for us. We would love to hear you talk about forgiveness too. So we will definitely have to make connections and get you back on our full-length podcast and make sure that we connect with you again. Lynn,
That would be awesome. Thank you.
It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on to our show. And we so look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much.
all right, audience and attendees and guests, thank you for being with us at Potapalooza. Right now, we are doing our short sessions, but we're going to bring a lot of these wonderful people back for our longer sessions. So look for them in the future. Bye for now.